Do you not remember a story about Matt Damon killing George Clooney's pig?
Oh, yeah, now you've said that, yeah. What's that about then?
Well, it's not true. Like, I remember, because when I was doing this, I was telling someone at work, and I was like, oh, do you remember Matt Damon killed George Clooney's pig? And they're like, what are you talking about? And we Googled it, and it wasn't anywhere.
Is it like a Mandela... Is it like the Mandela effect?
Well, it must be
a thing that people think is real but isn't real?
An actor did kill his pig, but it wasn't Matt Damon, yeah. So I think it's a Mandela. I think that...
Oh, wow.
That's why I was just hoping if I said Matt Damon pig, that would trigger something.
Now you've said it, it sounds familiar, but yeah.
Let's see if I've added George Clooney. Maybe Chris will get it. I'll add George Clooney to the mix. I would like a report of all the incidents that have happened in the last 6 months. I'd like it really soon, or I might just kick your nasty ass all over this room. That's a Marshall joke, by the way. It's a Marshall joke.
Very good.
This is the science fiction... what? I'll say it again. This is the science fiction rating system.
You're saying science weird.
Science
affliction.
Science.
Science.
This is the science fiction... I can't say fiction now.
It's moved on to the other words.
This is the science fiction rating system.
Let's move on because this is really bad listening.
It's a podcast about science fiction films. Fuck off, I can't say
You can say sci-fi.
Sci-fi. Yes, my name is Sam Dwettel, and I'm joined by Alex Humphrey.
Hey there.
And Chris Redding.
Hello.
Ill-timed. Big. I'm not hosting this very well at all. Anyway, right, we are here to talk about a film, science fiction films, and this week it's Outland. The Sean Connery starring film from 1981.
Yep.
Directed by Peter Hyams, who's already in the list for several films. Can you name those films?
Yes.
Go on then.
Time Cop and Capricorn 1.
And another one.
Oh.
Oh no, he didn't direct the other one. He was the director of photography on Universal Soldier Regeneration, which is strange, isn't it? strange step back.
That's weird. Maybe he got asked by Van Damme, oh, can you please come along and
step
in? Out?
Peter Hyams. Well, Capricorn 1, that was a good film, wasn't it? Time Cop, not so much.
Good fun.
Yeah,
good fun.
Any other sci-fis we haven't done?
He did 2010, didn't he?
I can't remember that. I know I've seen it, but I can't remember it at all.
I'm not sure that might be the only one. Have either of you ever seen Outland before?
Yes.
No.
I had seen it before.
Oh, you had? Didn't you say that you wanted to watch it?
No, I had seen it a really long time ago.
Right, okay.
And it's funny, because I watched it this time on VHS again.
Did you?
Well... yeah, it felt like that. Let's just say the version I watched was insanely bad quality. VHS quality bad.
Right.
Which it made it quite. It was terrible at the beginning, but then once you kind of got into it, I was kind of like, yeah, you know what? It's got a bit of a kind of vibe. It's got that kind of grainy vibe to it, anyway. So,
yeah. It is that kind of a late 80s, early 90s video rental store.
Yeah.
Film, isn't it? I will say it's got an amazing poster. Outland. It is the title, A Starfield, and then Sean Connery just holding a shotgun.
Yeah,
I love it.
They love shotguns in this film. Surely,
they do.
I mean, let's jump ahead here, Chris. Surely a shotgun is one of the most impractical space weapons ever.
It's a dangerous one, isn't it?
Use in space.
Yeah, shotguns in space because they scatter, don't they? So
you're going to hit something on a space station, I suppose. Maybe that might.
Yeah,
depressurize.
But you can get a shotgun which can shoot shot. You can use them inside barns and they won't damage the barn, but they'll kill the birds.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Maybe they are. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Probably a good thing to have.
Oh, maybe
because you could fuck things up and not damage the space station.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe they thought about it.
Shotgun twist. So this film was described by Peter Hyams as basically he wanted to make a western. And Hollywood said, no, westerns are out. You can't make westerns. And then he realised, I can just make a western in space. And really, if you know that going into this film...
I think I said western, I said sci-fi.
I mean, if you know that going in or you don't get going in, this film is a Western. I mean, it's basically High Noon, is what it is.
Yeah. It's got the kind of police procedural, kind of Soylent Green vibe about it as well.
It has. It's got a lovely vibe, I think.
Yeah, it's got that kind of like he's a cop looking for a kind of Chinatown, like there's a bigger thing. It's a murder, but then there's a bigger thing going on.
Space Precinct.
But it's also as a cop in a frontier town, you know. Come to sheriff the cowboys or whatever.
Do you know what it was originally called?
Shotgun Man.
No. It was originally going to be called IO.
Right.
But they were convinced that people would just read that as being 10. So they decided to change the name of it. Because they just thought...
I guess that's fair enough.
Think it's 10.
I mean, we're in an age where at the start they have to they put IO and then they put like the phonetic pronunciation of it, don't they? So it's clearly like no one knows what planets are yet.
I mean, if you like facts printed on a screen for you to
this
read,
is the film.
This is, I mean, it's 4 minutes of facts at the beginning.
Last week was Chop Week. This week is Printout Week, definitely. And in fact, this film starts with, I'm going to say, the Lad Company have got the greatest pre-film sting of anyone in the history of cinema. I love the John Williams horn theme that plays over the Lad Company theme. You know the one I mean? And the way like prints, like Dot Matrix prints the Lad Company thing down the screen. That is top class.
I might try and rip this off for my own company.
Do it.
Yeah, you should, yeah. Well, I wanted to put this, like, could we use the Lad Company thing? Because Lad Company are gone, aren't they? Could we use at the start of the podcast, have that? We can get in trouble for that?
Is it actually by John Williams?
Yeah, it's John Williams.
I think you would get in trouble, but I
Probably,
don't...
yeah. But who cares? No one cares.
No.
It's not like we're like doing bloody... What's his name? That cunt Rogan numbers, are we? So
I'd like to do. Yeah, it'd be good if a science fiction rating system. Like maybe we should do a new logo print like in that style. Yeah,
yeah, Chris, that's your job.
We could do a relaunch.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, like a proper like this kind of those green lines. Would like basically like the stuff in this. Oh, that'd be brilliant. Anyway, yes. So into the film, as Alex says, lots of printer scroll telling us that it's Io and a space station orbiting Io that is actually it's on Io, isn't it? It's on the moon. It's not orbiting.
Yes, yeah.
That is a mining colony, basically.
Yeah,
and
2,273 miles in diameter. It's 2,600,000. No, I don't. Long way from Jupiter. I can't read my.
This is great listening as well.
It's 70 hours to the space station.
Right.
From where? From Earth.
Yep.
No, that's not true because they spend a year in...
Distance from space station, 70 hours. That's what it says.
It can't be Earth because they spend a year going back to Earth, don't they?
Well, the frequency of supply shuttles is once per week, so...
Oh, I don't know. I like that they mention one of the crawls is like gravity is 1/6 that of Earth.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Entire breakdown. There's an entire breakdown.
Why is everyone bouncing around?
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. There's an entire breakdown of the personnel into what departments.
Oh, what departments they work in. Yeah.
Yep.
I appreciated it.
Alien did a bit of this.
It did. I mean, this is very much post-Alien, isn't it?
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
Some people posit that this is in the same universe as Alien.
Based on what?
That they're both Lad Company films, the kind of vibe of it, the fact they talk about the
Ladiverse.
The Ladiverse. It's the Ladiverse, yeah. They're just the feel of it, the look of it. Mining.
They don't have the same. I don't think they have the same space physics, though.
No, I don't. No, I don't think it is. I'm not saying it is.
So it's not. It can't be the same universe.
No. Do you know what universe it is linked in though? It is linked to another film.
Oh, is it Total Recall?
No, it's a film that we mentioned already. That
Time Cop.
The other one.
Capricorn 1.
Yes, because Con Amalgamate, which is the company they give in this, is the same name given to the company that manufactured the defective life support system in Capricorn 1. So this could almost be a future of the Capricorn 1 universe. Yeah. Also, that company is used. I've never heard of this film. The name of the company is the name of the company that Peter Boyle's character Jack Mitchell says that he works for in T.R. Baskin, 1971. I don't know what any of that.
Isn't that an ice cream?
Yeah, I thought Baskin. Yeah, Baskin and Robbins. Yeah, I don't.
Oh yeah,
know
Baskin Robbins. Yeah,
I'll look up
donuts, isn't it?
Don't know.
Is it?
I'll look up T.R. Baskin. See what it is. If it's a sci-fi though, then that's three. If it was, it'd be like three.
Could do
weird
the
three film.
the Con Am verse.
Oh, it's a drama.
Well, anyway, yes, Con Am are here. Con Am 27 is the mining outpost, and they are mining for
Titanium.
Oh, thank you. You know the actual thing.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And we get some nice procedural people doing mining, and then one guy's like, "Guys, there's a spider on my leg."
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Just how dismissive everyone else is of this.
Really dismissive.
Like, what's he doing?
And also,
what's he talking about?
I feel a bit like there wasn't any script to this bit, and they just went, do some chatting.
I agree.
Because they're really, the other guys are just like, oh, he's going on again. Oh, come on, give it a break, guy. What the hell?
It's also mixed really weird, isn't it? Because the sound effects are really loud, and the voices are all like really back in the mix.
Yeah.
It's a very odd opening, because you don't know, is this a film about space spiders? It could be, but we don't know yet. It could be.
What are spiders doing there?
Well, there aren't any spiders. I think he's gone mad, hasn't he? I think he's just, because this later on they say they're all going
crazy. Why is he
crazy.
seeing spiders? He's just gone mad.
He hates spiders.
I think the theme of the mania that grips them is that there is no theme, is it? Because they all go mad in different ways throughout the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy sees spiders, jumps off, dies. His head pops actually in a Total Recall style.
I love the head exploding.
Do you love head explosion?
Yeah, it's a good one. It kind of stretches. It kind of bulges out.
It is a good one.
It?
Yeah,
and then
that's why I wanted to link it to Total Recall.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that is a bit
Makes
like
sense.
that. Yeah,
because they both have that physics of explosive decompression.
Ooh, interesting.
Which is a myth.
And mining.
And mining, yeah.
Is it a myth? Your head doesn't explode. What happens to you then?
You just float off, don't you?
You just
go cold. You'd go cold, wouldn't you?
So you open your suit because there's spiders in it. What happens next?
What happens next?
Yeah.
Well, you'd suffocate.
Just suffocate. Okay.
And float off.
Yeah. All the blood vessels on your skin would kind of burst because it's like a vacuum, but it'd only like being in a vacuum.
Well,
you wouldn't blow up.
No, like this guy.
No.
He's dead. We cut to the interior of the space station and we meet Sean Connery, who's playing Marshal William T. O'Neill, in a scene that is exactly the same as the scene at the start of Jaws, where Roy Scheider's in the house with Lorraine Gary, isn't it? Even the kid being there and the way the kid's like doing something else.
Does he? I can't remember, but does he threaten to knock his teeth out if he doesn't eat his breakfast like Sean Connery does?
Not quite the Connery way of that. No, he doesn't. No, but there is the whole thing of like, he's taken an assignment. Yeah. They've gone to this island. They don't want to be there. They're away from home.
Yeah,
we've got to get back on the mainland. It's the same scene from Jaws, but I think it works again really well here. I think Connery's an actor who can pull it off.
And also something happens very quickly that backs this scene up, and I like how quickly the thing happens.
Yeah.
Because other films would have made that
gone on for a long time,
way longer ahead. So yeah.
Before we get to that thing, what do you think about Connery's look in this film? I think he looks fucking incredible in this film.
Yeah, it's great. I quite wanted that shirt. About 3/4 away, and I was like, I could like that shirt that he wears all the time.
It's a great outfit.
Yeah,
it is. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
and he's built well for it, but he's not too flabby and old. He's got nice short stubble. He looks the part.
It's the opposite as well. Remember when we watched Meteor and we were just all like, well, I enjoyed him as a scientist, but you were correct in that he's the most unscientist scientist.
Yeah.
This
there in his sheepskin jacket.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
looks like Del Boy.
Yeah. But this makes sense. Like you can totally
he can play this role.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, knowing what you know about Connery as well, like wife beating angry Scottish man. Who also suits him.
Classically makes terrible decisions in picking his films.
Yes.
And that's the other
and he's made a terrible decision in this world of going to work on this rig. He's got a year there, hasn't he, as a marshal. He's a new marshal in town.
We learn it's not really his fault. He keeps getting moved from one toilet to the next, as they say.
Yes, yeah.
It's more about him, isn't it? I'm assuming what I liked about this world I assumed that it was like Alien in that these jobs are very risky, but you get paid an immense amount of money, so you don't have to do it for very long.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it does a good job of establishing the world, that kind of stuff. Like the next scene when he's introduced everyone in the canteen. I think that's another great scene. Very Alien, isn't it? But like on a bigger scale, a lot more people there.
Yeah, that's really funny. They just don't care about it being there, do they?
Yeah. Except that one woman who stands up and she's like, "Oh, anything you need, I'll be there. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, that's really funny.
But yeah, we meet the bad guy. I can't remember his name now. Is it
Shepherd?
Shepherd, isn't it? Yeah, Shepherd.
Yeah.
Who I like how they don't. He's sort of out of shot for a lot of it, and they don't really. You never really get a close up on him. He's sort of like very distant and like.
Yeah.
He's like behind it all, which he is, isn't he? But I like how they show that in this scene of like he shouts over him and goes like, we don't want any trouble. Everyone works hard here, but they party hard, and if you know what I mean. And Sean Connery's like, I don't know what you fucking mean.
I work these people hard, and I let them play hard. So when it comes to time for them to let off steam, you have to allow them some room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, Connery's great because he's sat there and just from his expression you can tell he's thinking like, who is this Joker?
And then it literally cuts to him in the corridor with the sergeant being like, that fucking arsehole, he's not going to fucking get away with this shit, what the fuck? It's a very weirdly real, in a weird way, it's quite realistic. How people behave is quite realistic in this film, I think.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Again, I think that the benefit of them writing a Western and putting it in space is that that Westerns, because it was such a genre that lasted so long and evolved so much and so much happened to it, what a Western was so defined that character work was what made a Western, wasn't it? It wasn't about setting and stuff like that. To be a good Western, you had to have this tight sort of almost theatrical kind of thing going on. Like the best Sergio Leone
Everyone's got like
things.
clear defined roles in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff transfers, like the rowdy locals, the hookers, people are a bit rough. It's like a dirty job. Everyone's just kind of packed in, aren't they? And like it's almost like a prison, like the way they're all just jammed in together. It's very good at showing each scene. There's just tons of extras everywhere.
Yeah,
Just
that is
I do like the look of it all.
Yeah,
it looks great.
It does look great.
It's like a crowded Red Dwarf, I thought.
It's a bit like Aliens. But before it goes to
before
shit,
it goes wrong, yeah. But even like Dirty and that, isn't it? Like it's very. There's always like smoke and mist and stuff, and you're right, Alex. It's shot very claustrophobic, isn't it? Like you always get bits of the bulkhead in the shot, don't you? Next to several people running around.
Everyone's
like
stuff. On top of each other and next to each other, and it's all very like, and there's walkways and metal and like, it's just kind of. It looks horrible, but
Second weird going on is that a man just walks into a lift. And goes off to a random floor and just dies. Doesn't he go into space as well, I think, doesn't he? He
just takes the lift down to the surface but doesn't put a suit on or anything.
Just smiling. So I just think weird's going on. Yeah. And then, as Alex said, we smash cut then to Sean Connery walking into his house, lights are off, everyone's gone, and his wife is on the old blower saying, look, I can't hack it. We've been here at least 12 hours. And she's fucked off with the kid, with Paulie.
Because he deserves to breathe real air.
What I don't get is, right, if she made that decision this fast, could she not have done that before they got here? If she was that willing to...
Yeah. No, I guess. But I like it. I like how quickly that moves.
I agree.
And also, it just makes you feel quite sorry for him. Because he's not great, but you're like, well, fucking hell, that was a bit savage.
But you're right. It's like Shia going on the boat... Brody on the boat for the second half of Jaws. You're getting to that point in 10 minutes, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is a lone man out in a world doesn't understand trying to get by now for the whole film, and I think it's to its advantage. I also like how he keeps playing that message, doesn't he? You hear that message like 2 or 3 times. It's kind of realistic again, isn't it? As well, he keeps listening to it, and he is kind of. In a lot of his interactions, he's kind of a broken man. Like, there's a few times when, like, the doctor goes, do you want to go for a drink? He's just like, I would, like, really, meekly.
He's acting quite a lot in this. He's giving it a lot, isn't he? It's funny, the next scene, when they're having their meeting, and they're talking about how some nuclear detonators disappeared, but then turned back up again. And the bloke's all like, but how did that? And they're all just like, oh, I don't know. Like, they are just completely useless, aren't they? Like, and they keep saying, the first one, they're like, oh, it's definitely not homicide. And then they say it again in this, like, oh, no, it definitely isn't. Like, it's obviously suicide or whatever. And he's just like, well, was there a note? And they're like, no.
Yeah, that's who meets the Doctor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he asks the Doctor that, because the Doctor, who weirdly is kind of the other main character, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dr. Marion Lazarus, which I feel like having a woman playing this role, it's not something you see often, is it? I know the one who was in Next Generation, that one season's a bit like it, but this is before that.
No.
It's kind of like McCoy on steroids, isn't it? Like
there's a lot of sass, there's a lot of banter, but there's no
super sassy.
But there's no they don't end up together. That's what's good about it.
No, there's no. I mean, he doesn't really like it, does he?
No. No.
And she doesn't. I mean, and I like how she's very open about like saying like, if I'm here, I've got to be shit because this is the arse end of nowhere basically. Yeah. So,
do you know the weird connection with two characters in this film?
No.
With her, she's obviously in this. The first person that dies, or one of the people that dies, is John Ratzenberger.
Oh yeah, Cliff off Cheers, isn't it?
But she played Cliff's mum in Cheers.
Oh.
Yeah, and it says that she joined the cast in 1982. So does that mean Cheers was on when this came out? Because that's super weird.
Must have been.
Like you'd see him in Cheers and then see him in this. That guy. That's
was Cheers going that early.
I don't know. Or 81 even.
Maybe.
It ended in about 93, didn't it? And it ran for.
I don't know. Yeah, that shocks me.
It makes sense, yeah, but it is early.
Yeah. Can you imagine that's a bit weird casting? Okay, we need this guy to play the first person that dies in this really gritty mining colony. Oh, I got Cliff off Cheers. Do you want him?
It started September 82, so he would have gone from this into Cheers, basically.
That's right.
Yeah.
Phew.
That is weird, though, isn't it? So he meets the Doctor. She's like, nothing weird's going on here, but 25 people died this year. 25 people died last year. Year before that, no one died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like
that Steve Coogan
the Day sketch, yeah. In 1995, no one died.
No one died.
In 1994, someone died. That's good stuff. So he knows something up now. He's onto him. And we get more shots of... Oh, this is the hostage
so
thing,
much from Alien, don't they? Like, even the sets with, like, the screens and the...
Yeah, it's very Alien,
set.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's like...
Yeah. But don't you think it's got, like... As I say, it feels more lived in than Alien did?
Yes.
You think?
Well, there's just more going on. This is what you'd imagine, like, Alien, like, sequel to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but you can see how... So you can see, like, you can see the line of it, can't you? So he turns up at the studio and says... Peter Hyams like, I've got this Western. They're just like, no, leave. And he's like, oh, it could be in space. And they're like, right, make it like Alien then.
Yeah,
but a lesser director and writer would have just gone, oh yeah, okay, and it would have looked really lame. But he's kind of, it does look like Alien, but he's not just cashing in. He is building a bit on top of that, I think.
Well, you see a lot of stuff of this era where they're trying to do like Alien, as you say, but it like looks shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can clearly tell, they've used like a sink for that.
Yeah.
Or they've used like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
And that fucking black hole one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The art direction on this is very good, I think.
Yeah. Like the bit, there's a bit, he sits down, thinks in the kitchen, and there's like glass. They've got the white panels from Alien, and they've got like glass display case with diamonds and stuff inside them. There's like a real like visual kind of difference about because the rooms have got different bits and stuff in them, and that's like a nice evolution of the Alien design, isn't it? In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is really good. There's a hostage situation. Another man's gone mad. He's got a prostitute.
Stephen Burkoff.
The prostitute's got a prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is ridiculous, really. But you get to see it's Sean Connery doing police procedural stuff of like, oh, trust me, the guy goes through the vent, blam, we got you.
Yeah.
But this is the guy who reveals to them that there's something up in the blood.
Yeah.
And really, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so that's Stephen Burkoff, the freaky out bloke. I had to study him in GCSE drama.
Did you?
Yeah, he has his own method of acting and stuff. But what people know him from is like Beverly Hills Cop.
The Burkoff method.
Yeah. He did it's very well. It's basically this. It's just overacting and like Oh, Chris has gone.
It's so he doesn't like Burkoff. He's walked off.
He probably had to study him at GCSE like me. It's just so weird that like in theatre circles, he's this huge like auteur or like this kind of practitioner of an acting style. But then
here he is,
film,
like
it's just him. He's Jack the Hat.
He's terrible.
Yeah, he's in this. As a freaky prostitute killer, he's the baddie in Beverly Hills Cop, and he's Jack the Hat McVitie in The Craze.
Do you think that Chris has maybe got this blood problem that he's gone mad? He's not a word to us. He just walked off.
Oh God, I hope not.
Did he forget he's on the podcast?
I don't want to investigate his death. I feel bad.
Did you say where he was going?
No, he just went like that. Just wandered off. Said something about spiders.
Well, we'll crack on. I hope he'll come back. He can hear him banging around somewhere. We get the autopsy scene. I think this is my peak Connery scene because, again, I really like his stubble. Connery, right, as an old man, kind of looked like an old shoe, didn't he? And he was so miserable in such bad films.
Yeah.
You can kind of see a post-Bond, but still...
Yeah, there's a middle ground. Do you think that's why he got his Oscar for
he's back.
Untouchables? It was the... It's that middle period of Connery, isn't it? Not too old,
that's the other end
young.
of it, isn't it? Yeah, I think you're right.
In the middle.
Yeah.
He kind of like a wine. He was exactly at the right drinking...
Are you right there, Chris?
Yeah, fine. I just had to nip out.
We thought you had the space sickness.
No.
Just got in a lift.
Just gone and decompressed myself.
I mean, it would make sense because Chris has been working very hard. So if he was banging that drug so he could work hard, then, you could see.
Working hard? He just told us he's been at a party for a week.
He made a film.
Oh, yeah.
He worked hard, then he played hard. It's exactly,
okay. Yeah.
Exactly like the mining colony.
So he knows there's a drug involved already, Connery. We're not even halfway through, and he's already solved it, basically.
He totally solved it. Because the doctor's like, oh, yeah, they just keep making me, like, they keep jettisoning the bodies, and they just say, and Burkoff's body says contaminated on it, doesn't he? And he's just like, fuck that. Sticks a syringe in his throat, pulls out some blood.
Yeah.
And then he calls the doctor in the middle of the night, and he's like, right, I'll see you in the hospital. And she's like, okay.
She says, you better be dying. He wasn't dying, he's just got a job to do.
He has got a job to do.
And he does his job, and he starts sending off loads of messages. The one problem I think this film does have, like you say, these messages, a lot of plot is conveyed through a message being sent one way or another on a green screen very slowly, isn't it?
But I'm assuming these were telegrams in the original Western.
Oh, yeah, back to back up to wherever,
so
San Francisco.
He transported them a bit too literally, didn't he?
Do you think he literally wrote it as a Western then and just transposed it into... Yeah. I think, it makes sense, wouldn't it?
He just did like a mining... out all of the bits that said like desert and put planet. Instead of horse, he put, I don't know, prostitute.
So Sean Connery goes surveillance, and he surveils a club.
Yeah, the Humpy Club.
This club, we've got to have a little sidetrack here because the music for this club is brilliant and, in my opinion, very far ahead of its time. There's two club scenes, this one and one later on, and I think both of them are exceptional examples of electronic music, and they sound like something you'd hear in a film from the 2010s. And they sound so realistic.
And they're not Jerry Goldsmith, who's doing the rest of the soundtrack.
Yeah, so I fell down a hole with this. I wanted to find out who these were, and I'm gonna say this now because I'm gonna put this in the show notes. I think that we are going to be the number one, the only comprehensive source on the internet for information about these two songs because I spent a good hour and a half getting this information together. Wow. So, Jerry Goldsmith did not record these songs. However, Jerry Goldsmith did record two songs for these clubs.
Oh.
And they are called... Bear with me here, sorry. They're called Rec Room 1 and Rec Room 2, and they're available on the extended version of the Outland soundtrack from 1993. They're both terrible.
Okay. Are they dancey, or are they classical?
They're like a bit like bossa nova, like... They're terrible. They're replaced by these two. Now, these two songs are erroneously credited on the internet on YouTube to a band called Ganymede, which is Ganymede without the E, right? Who are an Austrian disco band, and people think that they made these songs. Well, it isn't true. So, the first song is by a man called Michael Bodiker, who recorded under the name Ganymede, and that's what's credited properly in the film, right? This is the weird thing. For literally decades on the internet, people thought they'd spelt Ganymede wrong. It was actually Ganymede. It wasn't. This Bodiker was called Ganymede, but the only song he ever recorded was for this film. It's called Source #1 Source 192, and that is also available on the 1903 soundtrack. Right, the second song, the better song, which is sometimes referred to as the sordid club song. Right, that song also credited to Ganymede, isn't made by that. That was made by a man called Hideki Matsutake, who was the keyboard tech for the Yellow Magic Orchestra. He released music under the name Logic System.
Fucking hell.
Right?
Oh my God.
On the album Logic System, the Venus, their album, there's a track called Automatic Collect, Automatic Correct, which is a different version of the second club song. And this song is called Source #2 Source 193 on the soundtrack. And that, there is nowhere else on the internet that's got that in one location. So there we go. So I'm going to put that up in the notes. I've done actual research.
Well done. That's proper podding. That is like...
And I'll put a little clip in of one now, because they are bloody brilliant songs. I really like them. Worth the effort.
Yeah. Club, isn't it? It's just some blue people humping while everyone just has drinks.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'd go. Yeah, why not? I mean, there's nothing else to do there.
This would be like, well, I told you about my Star Trek cop show idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's just set in space dock or something.
Yeah.
It basically, this is a lot like this film.
Yeah.
But
It was
set
an
in the
alright club.
Kirk era.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think, again, like you say, Alex, the amount of people there kind of sell it, don't they? It's a very busy club.
Yeah, it's very busy.
There's a bit of weird writhing. And
also, I mean, here, perfect example, he could have just lazily been like, oh, I wrote it was a Western. Oh, I'll have a space keyboard and a space saloon with a keyboard player instead of a piano
Space
player.
moonshine.
Yeah, and there'll be some burlesque dancing, but it'll be like space burlesque or like... Do you know what I mean? He could have gone really lazy, but yeah, this is way more realistic.
It's better, and also, again, like, Sean Connery finds out here that basically his assistant marshal is bent.
Yep.
And, this film has a great habit of instantly paying off any sort of twist. Because literally the next scene he's playing squash with him and he's like, right, well, how much is he paying you? I know you're on the take.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. I love it because there's nothing better than you thinking, oh, here we go, 10 minutes of this. And it's like, oh, shit, no, like, this is it. Where are we going to go after this?
Yeah. You know? And also, I mean, he didn't know it, but nowadays, there are so many films where, it was the corporation. And it's very boring, and these films will pay that out an hour and a half in. So it's almost like he was like, oh, come on, everyone's going to know it's that, so I'll just literally have it right really quickly. Like, he was almost ahead of his time in knowing that was going to become a cliche, because it totally did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He starts to shut club. Great club. He starts to shut the ring down, he chases a drug dealer.
Big old chase, big old fight.
He catches him. I did like the way he decides to detain this dude.
Oh, the cell's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so the cell is like, he's floating, isn't he, in zero grav, and being told he'll be suspended there and that no one can talk to him, which is a good way for containment because there's literally no air, so no one can talk to him.
And you would go a bit mad because of the floating, it'd be like sensory deprivation, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, it's a really good idea, I thought. It's really nice.
Well, you die after a while because you can't keep someone in that.
No. You can't.
No.
How long could you last in there, do you think?
Well, you could last forever if you exercised.
Right.
But if you didn't exercise?
Well, your muscles would just, your bones would turn to mush.
It'd be more than a few hours, wouldn't it, though? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like weeks.
Yeah, we couldn't stay there forever. Yeah.
Or months, yeah.
I don't think Connery cares, does he, anyway, really? No. He's they're scum to him.
Yeah.
Another great scene, about the halfway point, he's cracked the case, and so he goes to meet Shepard in his office, and what could Shepard possibly be doing other than playing golf, which is brilliant.
Virtual golf.
But it's good because the first time they go, he's just playing into a little cup on the floor, isn't he? And the second time, they've got the actual video wall, haven't they? And they say he's like he's got balls going into a VR thing, which I think was really good.
Yeah.
Again, his office, like really well set dressed. You've got the alien machines. You've got a big wide desk, a big globe, like sofas, all sorts. Like they're doing more than just like copy pasting the same room over and over again, aren't they? They're putting a lot of personality onto this world looking at.
And his point is that it's not that bad because everything's kind of running fine and everyone's happy and, he's got clean hookers and boozes and watered down. Some of them are good looking, he says.
There's a great line, isn't there? I think it's Connery says it about how, like, this is how the machine works, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's later on when he has his big, like, hero speech, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's later on, isn't it? But yeah, the implications, this is just how it goes on.
And also, it's good because the general manager's like, okay, cool, so you want more money, so what? How much more do you want?
Yeah.
Because you've pretended to be a hero, so how much is it then?
Yeah.
And he's all just like, well, no, I don't want... And he's like, okay, right, so you're holding out a bit longer, so come back to me when I'll think about giving you more money, like... Doesn't he? He still thinks it might be like a kind of scam to get more out of him, a bigger payoff.
Totally, and it's good when he goes back again because they tried to kill him, he doesn't, and he just says to him, he says to Connery like, "You realise you're a dead man."
Yeah.
He like,
well, no, he goes to see the prisoner's head's exploded and the sergeant's dead in a refrigerator, dead. And then he goes. Why did he go to the meat refrigerator?
It's the meat locker. I don't know that.
I didn't. Anyway, the drugs are in a big pig, or big bit of meat. He nearly gets choked out, but luckily he's wearing his neck guard.
Yes.
Which again, I don't know why he's wearing a neck guard.
Well, he's expecting to be garroted, isn't he?
I guess. Anyway. And that's when he goes back, and it's basically just like, oh yeah, I'm going to kill you then. So
this is the high noon bit, isn't it? The setup of like it's just so there's a gang of dudes coming. Well, the shepherd gets on the phone to his boss, and he's like, look, I can sort it out, but you've got to send me your best men. And there's literally like a high noon countdown now, isn't there? Where like the cleaners are going to turn up to fuck up Connery.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's resigned to the fact that no one's on his side. But I like how they show it, don't they? Repeatedly like show, when they're coming in and he goes like, so anyone going to help?
Yeah.
And no one does.
And he goes in the club and everyone stops and stares at him. But the really funny thing is that the humping show is still going on. They don't stop. So there's just there's a bit where he's sitting there and everyone's looking at him and there's just these people like, woo, like on the stage like that. And then they'll just let him go like, oh, he's drinking. Yeah, and you just keep seeing the countdown, don't you? Oh, and he goes play squash on his own because no one will play squash with him.
Yeah, but again, that's a great scene.
Squash court.
Yeah, squash court's good.
Yeah.
And like such, that's classic filmmaking, isn't it? Like quick symbolism of the squash game with the two of them. Now as the one.
Yeah.
He's preparing for the end. It's so. I love it. It's a lot like Unforgiven. Like the end of Unforgiven when he's waiting for Gene Hackman to come back to the town.
Yeah.
It's that sort of like one last job sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's great. It's brilliant. So he preps for the guys to come. He's got a new deputy.
Yeah, he does his big speech. Yeah, basically you're right. He says.
Have you got it written down?
Yes,
it's really good.
I will. Should I do a Connery?
Yeah.
Because maybe they're right. They send me here to this palace ship because they think I belong here. I want to find out if they're right. There's a whole machine that works because everyone does what they're supposed to. And I found out I was supposed to do something I didn't like. That's what's in the program. That's my rotten little parts in the rotten machine. I don't like it. So I'm going to find out if they're right. Went a bit weird there at the end.
It's a bit Brian Cox, but
went a bit Brian. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. But he basically wants to see... It's good because he's not... isn't it? He's not actually a good person. He's just seeing if he could be a good person. It's almost like he's saying that. Isn't he not a hero? Because he hasn't ever done this kind of thing before because he keeps getting moved on. They say he's got a big mouth. That's all they say.
I think they should explicitly say that there's a big paycheck involved.
What, by... What?
I think
in the job?
Yeah, I think it should be made explicit that the reason he's there is because it pays really well.
Yeah.
But he's paying him to do a particular job, and that job doesn't involve being part of the cartel. You know what I mean? Like,
because it's all just a bit hinting at. Because Shepard says, "Oh, you've been moved to one toilet from one toilet to the next because you've got a big mouth." Because he's like, "Oh, you're not that great. Like you why are you here? Because only shitty people are here," kind of thing.
Yeah, but he obviously is good. So that's the bit I didn't really get. Was so.
Yeah.
What is he trying to prove?
Yeah.
Or for what reason? Like, if the reason is because the pay is good, that makes sense, doesn't it? Especially in a world that is obviously ultra capitalist.
Yeah, they should.
But they don't explicitly say it, do they? So it's a bit. That speech is really good, but I'm just left wondering.
Yeah.
What is your motive here, Connery?
Yeah.
Why haven't you just left? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it to prove to Paulie that you're great?
Well,
Other weird thing is how he's Scottish, his wife is English, and their child is like Californian.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I think maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
You could explain that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bit sad when he talks to his wife and this kid rings him and stuff. That's a bit sad.
The kid bit's terrible. That kid's awful. But
Yeah,
but the wife bit's sad when she's like, there's something wrong, and he's like, no, there's not.
It's
and
it's good as well when it ends. You can hear like a ticking clock, and I was a bit like, but they wouldn't have a ticking clock. Like surely that's a bit old fashioned for him to actually have a ticking clock. Like
yeah.
They always have that shuttle countdown though. They show when he's in the bar. Time is an element in this, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, but it's the clock at the the church clicking round to high noon, isn't it? On the main street in the town, basically the main drag.
Yeah.
He gets his guns ready. He heads off in a shuttle, doesn't he, to the other side of the complex. Is that where he goes? I can't remember. This end bit, to be honest,
he kind of moves the cameras around to get better looks at the corridors. Hides a gun that then gets moved for some reason.
It's a shame he didn't have more spacey guns.
Yeah,
everything's. I think that's a missed trick.
The thing is, though, I thought I was a bit like, I'm not sure about this. But then I was a bit like, yeah, but I'd have hated it if it had been all fucking Home Alone and he'd set silly traps, and that would have been more annoying.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I just think I lost a sense of space a bit towards the end as to like where he was heading and what was going on.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I get obviously the bit they go to like the garden, or whatever, the arboretums. I keep mentioning it, but there's a lot of like him coming in and going out of rooms.
Yeah.
Well, I was a bit like, oh,
yeah, because there's only two assassins, aren't they? The sniper one and the moustache one,
who are sent in. They hunt him. They shoot him, don't they? At one point, and the doctor patches him up. She's on his side, and he goes out.
He's outside.
Yeah, he's in space.
But it is funny though. Whenever he's outside, he's just going. He's just like grunting and like it's like they said to him, "Oh no, you wouldn't talk." But then he's just making these weird noises. He's like he's really unfit or something. But yeah, this doctor locks the guy in the corridor, and then he rips the corridor open from outside.
Yeah.
So he gets sucked out. Does he?
I quite like the outside shots. They're
not bad, are they?
Look nice, don't they?
Yeah, and then the other guy he kills in the
good miniature work in this.
That's silly actually because he drops something from outside, and then the guy shoots the window out.
Yeah.
Which you just would, if you're a hired gun, you're not going to be that dumb that you're going to shoot a space station window.
I thought it was a shame because I you've got to have this showdown, haven't you? But did you like it? I didn't really like the ending.
I didn't mind it. I liked the little twist about who the other baddie was. The sergeant is new sergeant.
Oh, of course, the baddie.
Who's the guy? He's from The Wire.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, you know the one that builds builds the furniture.
Oh yeah,
it's him. What's his name? I'll find his name. Clark Peters. Yeah, so he's the baddie, and he has a big fight. That fight's really lame though. It's like a really slow, and there's weird. What are the blue sparks when they touch their heads against the? I didn't understand the science of that. Yeah,
that bit. When he goes. What's his name? Clark Peters is talking to the doctor and goes, "Oh, where's he gone? Where's he gone?"
Yeah.
And then asks like really specifically where he's. That's kind of a bit obvious that he's not on the up and up. That doctor's a bit thickerish. She's like, well, why are you asking me these very particular questions about the location of this dude right now?
Yeah.
He sorts him out anyway.
Yeah,
he saves the day.
It's an amazing ending when he goes in the bar. He goes to go to he's all panting, isn't he? And the shepherd's just sitting there, and he obviously goes to read him his rights. So he's just like, "Oh fuck it," and he just hits
hits him, punches him,
He goes flying over the table like that. Like he doesn't even arrest him in the end, does he? Like,
no, just whacks him.
And then that's it. He's packing his bags and.
He tells the doctor you're a good doctor after all. They have a bit of a moment, don't they? Like, you're all right. Yeah. You're all right.
You're all right. And she's like,
but then he has time to get the shit.
And then you get to do some more reading.
I like the reading. It goes it's something like, can't wait to sleep with you. Yeah. And there's a massive gap, isn't there? And then it goes, for a year. or next to you for a year, something like that.
Looking forward to sleeping with you for a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep the ticket warm.
On sleeping with you.
They had some real fun with that, didn't they?
And that ends.
Yeah.
And the credits... A weirdly 90s TV movie, I thought.
Yeah.
It's not a very 80s credit shot.
Yeah.
Ahead of its time in many ways.
Yeah. Did you know this was the first movie to use intro vision, front projection process, which allowed the actors and actresses or other live action elements to be sandwiched by a projected background and foreground element all at the same shot? It also used mega sound. a sound system format that was created by Warner Brothers.
Died out.
Yeah, theatres equipped for Megasound had additional speakers mounted on the left, right, and rear. Selected soundtrack events with lots of low-frequency content, thuds, crashes, explosions, were directed to these speakers at very high volume, creating a visceral effect. So basically just like the bass, I guess, hit on the back. So it just sounds awful. Like that.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, it does. It does sound terrible.
Until they nailed 5.1, they were really flailing, weren't they?
They were.
Sound.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
That was Outland.
Yeah.
What do we all think? Alex?
Yeah, great.
Chris,
yeah, go.
I really enjoyed it. I loved it. It had a great feel to it. It looked great. As you say, Connery was. This is like, he's so hit and miss, isn't he?
Yeah.
When you see him in stuff.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to sci-fi and stuff, because he's just not like a sci-fi type person.
No.
And this is great because obviously he's just playing like a salt of the earth person, and it's got this realism to the whole world, and the world building is great. Just little things.
Yep.
And yeah, this is like great. I can't believe I didn't know about this film.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think further to your point about Connery, it's not even genre. I think it's very obvious with Connery whether he actually likes the script or not. He's doing. I think you can, if he's not interested, it's obvious, isn't it?
Detect contempt.
Yeah, definitely. Whereas this, he clearly thought, no, this is a good.
Something to get my but as I say, he's legendary for picking missing out on terrible things films. And picking terrible things. He doesn't know what he's doing half. You have had a bad agent, maybe.
That's later on, isn't it? He starts missing out on stuff, isn't it? Isn't it? That's like. Yeah, Avengers, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Alex, what did you think of?
I loved it. I had seen it before, and I remembered really liking it, so I wanted to re-watch it. I think it's a really good one of those films where it jumps genres. It's a bit of a horror film. It's a bit of a police film. It's got very, very strong Western vibes. There's a sci-fi element. I think the script. I love a script that kind of runs as fast as your brain does, where you're before you ask a question, they're kind of answering it for you. It's almost ahead of you a bit. This one. I think I was probably a bit slower than the film is kind of throwing stuff at you quicker.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's not patronising in any way.
Not at all. No.
And I think the ending is a little bit clunky, the battle at the end is a bit clunky, but that's a very small part of the film, and I don't think that's anyone's fault.
No.
Really.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know whether... I think even then you could do a better ending to this film, I think. But I agree, I think it's really good for all the reasons you said. I think if you imagine what we watched, we saw Serenity, didn't we? Firefly, which is a modern space western. Think how terrible that was.
Oh yeah,
and how overwrought the western parallels were. This film makes no effort to be a western, other than it is. It is literally a western in space, isn't it? Because it's a science fiction film that is using the narrative trappings and setting of a western. Transposed to space, and it works so much better for that because it trusts you to just want to watch a good film, and it doesn't really matter that it borrows from High Noon because it is so different, the setting and things like that. And it was so refreshing to watch it. And as I said before, and as you mentioned, Alex, the way that it is confident enough to kill any sort of narrative hook that it could drag out for 20 minutes, it kills dead in seconds and goes like, no. We know you've worked this out because we've worked it out. Let's worry about the next thing now, rather than just going on and on, everyone going, what's going on.
Yeah.
And it keeps that pace really well, doesn't it, across the whole 2 hours?
And it also doesn't, again, in a modern film, would have had either the end be Connery travelled to Earth to take down the corporation, or have sent a folder of evidence that was published and took down, or would build itself for a sequel. That then was him taking down. They just go. He's just done with it. He's just like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. I don't need to do this anymore.
I think to get a scope like this, it would be an indie film now, wouldn't it? And obviously, you wouldn't get Connery for that. No. So it would be a different scale of acting and production and stuff like that. But no, I think it's it was a really, like you, Chris. I don't understand why it's not canon really, and why we don't know about it more. It's odd.
Because it really is. I think it is. Alien or I don't know, like The Thing.
Yeah.
It's got that same sort of realism vibe.
Yeah.
It's very, very important, I think.
Ooh. Where's it going to go in the list?
Important style.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's an evolution of a style, isn't it? That isn't should be more celebrated. Really, I think.
But you can kind of see how it didn't go, where it went a bit wrong for it when maybe the mainstream had already moved on to like Aliens and
that wasn't out yet
style.
though.
Yeah.
I think it predates that. I think because if it's 82, 81, isn't it? So it's only 18 months after Alien came out. So it's like it's still riding that crest. I don't know why it didn't hit. I don't know, but I'm glad we watched it anyway.
Maybe
Where's it going to go on the list?
Any aliens?
Yeah, maybe actually.
Yeah,
maybe you're right.
Yeah,
maybe that is it. Yeah,
yeah.
Because I mean that's its strength as well. Is that like it is just a human story, isn't it? That happens to be in space.
Story,
Yeah.
That's what it was, isn't it? It's like there's nothing fantastical really.
No.
I think you're right. Yeah, and literally the poster is. Sean Connery in a boiler suit with a shotgun. Doesn't really say, like, space opera, does it?
No.
Which it isn't, but, yeah.
This would be a great, cosplay.
Oh, yeah.
It would,
Rando cosplay. Because everyone would just think you're doing Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where's it going to go in the list?
It's quite hard, isn't it?
I think we're talking... I'm going to say I think we're talking top 50. What do you think?
I'm all right with that. I mean, Capricorn 1 is at 38, and I think it might be better than Capricorn 1.
Capricorn 1 also fell apart towards the end, didn't it? If I seem to remember.
It had a really silly ending. The slow-mo running.
Where's the thing?
Thing's quite high.
That should be really high. It's 15, the thing is. I mean, it's not really as good as that, is it? But it's...
No.
I think Capricorn 1, 38, that kind of area.
I think it's probably better than Men in Black. Which is
it's not better than Alien 3, though.
Okay, well, then it could be at 34.
Alien 3 actually does share a lot of vibes this as well.
The Doctor is a bit like, because he's a disgraced Doctor, isn't he?
In fact, it is almost like this is the Alien 2 that leads to Alien 3, isn't it? Like, in a way.
Yeah. Weirdly, yeah. Under Alien 3, then? 34?
I'm happy with that. Chris, are you...
It's above Undiscovered Country. Are you all right with that, Chris?
It's all right.
Okay.
33. Outland. Oh, no, sorry, 30... Sorry, that's wrong. 34.
34.
Outland. Fantastic.
Good music as well.
Yeah, it was really good music. Yeah, the score's good, as well as the two club scenes, which are fantastic.
Oh, well, I'm glad you guys liked it. I was a bit worried that you just wouldn't.
Yeah, really good. A song... Oh, yeah, you've talked about having this and that album. There's an album that I haven't heard yet. I was hoping to hear it beforehand. That is a song called High Moon's based on this, isn't it? Which
some weird album.
It might be rubbish, so we don't know.
I'm glad no one's remade this as well. It feels like...
Well, there's a remake. No, hang on. Wait a minute. Where's that?
It feels like a kind of film someone might be like, oh, let's remake... Oh, no.
Right, in 2009...
Yeah.
Michael Davis was hired to direct a remake from a script by Chad St. John. However, I think it just vanished into...
I'm all right if Chris wants to remake it, but no one else.
I mean,
I don't think there's any much point, to be honest.
Good.
Because
that's why I'd be all right with you doing it.
You could use it as inspiration.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Might as well just use it as inspiration and do something else.
Yeah.
I think you could do an Unforgiven-like film within the Alien universe. I said this before, haven't I? Like a Ripley.
Yeah.
I think there's a Ripley story to tell with a really old Ripley, like on one last mission like this, like Eastwood in Forgiven, like called out of retirement to go and deal with shit one more time.
Or just working in some backwater mining colony as their sheriff, maybe like this. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just trying to have a normal life, and then one more alien turns up. There's like one last.
That's where Alien was kind of good with the original, because it was like this was a universe where there was no aliens, right?
Yeah.
And then they came along.
Yeah.
And that's what it lost in the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah. Completely. Yeah, and that's why I think Alien 3 works, not to go back to it again, is because it does the best it can to reintroduce the element of an alien being truly alien. Because
we're in a post-Alien 3 podcast. I'm all okay with it. In the beginning, I hated it. We've rewatched it. I like it.
It's the 30th anniversary of it, isn't it? Because I saw... Is it 30th anniversary? It's something anniversary of it. There's a big thing on The Guardian about how they're saying, like, there's been a critical reappraise of Alien 3. I thought, fucking damn straight there has on the SFRS.
Yeah.
It's 30.
Yeah. There you go.
We led that charge, maybe.
We did.
Anyway, next week, it's that time of year again. We are continuing our trek through the stars. We are on to Star Trek 10. We've got to do it. It is Star Trek 10 Nemesis. Chris will be taking us through that gem.
I will.
Get to see a young Tom Hardy, which always a strange thing about this film.
Doesn't mumble in this though, does he?
No, he's
There's a great interview with him, like when he got the role, and he doesn't know anything about Star Trek. He gets everything wrong. It's quite good.
Brilliant. Yes, so we're watching that next week, which will be entertaining at least. I think Star Trek 5 might finally not necessarily be the worst Star Trek film, but we'll see. We'll see.
Interesting.
Definitely down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, get in touch with the Sci-Fi Rating, Twitter, wherever you want. Email is sciencefictionratingsystem@gmail.com.
Any correspondence this week?
No, that's it, I think, isn't it, really?
No.
We'll play out the sounds of Logic System with their song Automatic Collect, Automatic Correct. And we'll see you in a week for Star Trek. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.